If there was ever a man that had a reason to be afraid, it would be Elisha. The king of Syria was so upset with Elisha that he sent an entire army to get him. Good reason to be afraid, but he wasn't afraid. He understood a secret for overcoming fear. His story is found in 2 Kings chapter 6. Now, one morning, he and his servant are sleeping in a little town called Dothan, and they wake up and they find out they're surrounded by the Syrian army. His servant is obviously very afraid and very upset. 2 Kings 6:15, and when the servant of the man of God rose early and went out, there was an army surrounding the city with horses and chariots. And his servant said to him, "Alas, my master, what shall we do?" Elisha answered, "Do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them." Don't be afraid. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. I want to encourage you today that when God is with you, you're always in the majority. If God is with you, you have an army that's bigger than anything the enemy can throw at you. Those who are with us are more than those who are against us. Then in verse 17, and Elisha prayed and said, "Lord, I pray, open his eyes that he may see." And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, the servant, and he saw, and behold, the mountains were full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. The enemy thought they had Elisha surrounded, but God had the enemy surrounded. And God had the enemy outnumbered, outflanked, outmaneuvered. And I want you to be encouraged today. You might not be able to see it, but there are angels around you right now. And when you're going through your hardest, deepest, darkest times of your life, God has angels surrounding you. I believe there'll be a way in heaven when we can look at the hardest, darkest, most difficult seasons of our lives, the most fearful times of our life, and we will see that God has us surrounded by angels. Be encouraged today. This story goes on, and what Elisha did is he had God not only open the eyes of his servant, but he had him blind the eyes of the Syrian soldiers. And then he led them to Samaria because that's where the king of Israel was. The king of Israel says, "Well, what do you want me to do with all these guys? You want me to kill them?" And Elisha says, "No, feed them." So they gave him a great feast. And then the army went back to the king of Syria, and he was so shook up, he didn't know what to do, and he never bothered them again. God's got you surrounded today. You may be in a mess. You may be going through deep waters. You may be caught in the fire and the flood. You may be just surrounded by enemies, but I want you to know God's got your enemies surrounded, and God's got you surrounded. Those who are with us are more than those who are against us. You can overcome fear because God's got you surrounded with angels.